Hello again, friends, and welcome back to another edition of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru right here, wherever it is that you are. I'm here. Jim's here. I assume you're here as well. We're a day late. Let's cut through the crap. Let's cut to the chase. Here's Jim Cornette.
Oh, for heaven's sake. That was just the anticipation of your return, your grand and glorious return to podcasting after the illness that you've had, after Pray for Brian, hashtag Pray for Brian, got 1.3 thousand likes when I tweeted it out. Everybody's been sitting on pins and needles waiting to find out about your health update, and you just give a bland generic intro and expect me to carry the ball just because you're still feeling a little puny. Well, I got news for you, Brian Last. I'm going to reveal a secret right here on the Drive-Thru, right on Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru, as you so aptly described it. You have been faking this illness. I hate to use that four-letter word that begins with F, but you have been fabricating, my friend. You have fabricated this. You have fabricated this illness to get sympathy on yourself because you have ignited a firestorm of controversy in both the wrestling and pizza worlds. And I think that you have realized that people were starting to go cancel last. Cancel last is what was starting to trend, and you suddenly you took ill and you were on your deathbed. Pray for Brian.
Well, first of all, you started Pray for Brian. Second of all, I think you ignited the firestorm. Third of all, there's only one thing that would legitimately cause me to fake an illness like this, and that would be to get out of watching Monday Night Raw. And unfortunately, I will be watching it tonight, so I did not fake anything.
I thought you were going to say a good insurance scam is the only thing it would cost me to. No, well, give the people an update. We don't want you to go into gory detail, but you were feeling very, very poorly, and you were dizzy, and you had a fever, and we've tried to sandwich recording times around times when you were able to gather yourself together.
I have not felt this bad in as long as I can remember. I spent the better part of 4 days in bed, and anyone who knows me knows that it's impossible for me not to.
You're never in bed.
I'm never.
Every single one of your ex-girlfriends, the one thing they would universally agree on, we can't get him in bed.
Well, I've never spent this much time in bed, or at least not in a number of years. And you were very gracious. I got to thank you. Every time I called you up and said, Jim, I don't think I could do it. After about 4 minutes of being called every kind of motherfucker in the book.
No, I did not.
No. You were really good. You were really understanding about it. You had just been sick as well. But yeah, I knocked for a loop. Got some blood tests this morning and don't have the results yet, but hopefully everything's on the up and up. But I still feel like shit. After we're done recording this, I'll be going back to bed for a little bit and then hopefully waking up at some point in the middle of the night.
Hopefully waking up at some point is always a goal that we have every night when we lay our heads down to sleep. But and
the pizza thing.
Wait a minute. No, hold on. One more thing. You went to this high-priced medical facility. See, now here's the thing. Just any old body can go to a hospital, but you got to have Vince McMahon or Brian Last kind of money to get to a medical facility because they'll charge you out the ass. But you went to a high-priced medical facility, and the miracle drug that you were prescribed, that you were told by the medical professionals at the medical, you can't have doctors in a hospital. You have medical professionals at a medical facility. The miracle drug they gave you was water, was H2O. They didn't even give it to you. They recommended it to you. So drink plenty of water.
They recommended a lot of water. They said if it was the flu, it's too late. Which you never want to hear ever. If it's the flu, it's too late.
Too late.
We have to get you within the first 48 hours. Otherwise, you're helpless. It's not coronavirus, so I got that going for me. And if you go to a medical facility, does Vince call it a medical vehicle, or is he okay with ambulance?
You know, actually, let's see the next time they do it, probably 2 or 3 weeks from now. When they do it again, let's see if they call it an ambulance or a medical vehicle. Or possibly a medical transport vehicle. And the EMTs would be the medical transport vehicle personnel. Yeah, well, that would roll right off the tongue if you're doing wrestling announcing live.
But I got to catch up on a lot of reading. I got to watch some Me TV. I got to catch up on Curb Your Enthusiasm. So there were some positives in my.
Well, you're okay. Well, let me curb your enthusiasm now. Now that I've got you in the hot seat, over the past several days, you have literally been demonized in public, if you will. You have been demonized. You have been shamed. You have been called every name in the book. You have been threatened with cancellation because of your controversial, your inflammatory, your perspicacious comments on pizza. And the fact that even people are turning on you, Brian. The people who once were firmly in your corner have now said, what in the world is this man saying? How can he have done it? It's like a dagger through the heart that you claimed that the way that you eat pizza, that you prefer pizza, the pizza should be done is the dough, the sauce, and cheese.
Oh, if that's the only problem, I'm okay with that. I thought you were going to say people were disputing me saying that the best pizza in the world is here in New York and New Jersey.
Well, no. Well, and that's it. Actually, what you've done is you've ignited a firestorm in both the pizza and the wrestling communities, and they're all coming together to say, what the fuck are you talking about, Willis? Not only, you've seen the testimony on Twitter that many people who were born and raised in New York say, no, Cornette's right. It's overrated.
I didn't see
There's
that.
nothing to do with the fucking water in the dough, for fuck's sake. One guy said, oh, yeah, well, I got a place near me. They ship the water. They get the water up there from the East River. You want your fucking pizza dough Hoffa flavored? Or possibly, you want it Hoffa flavored, or you want it Gotti flavored? From the East River, now, our crust now with like the Pizza Hut had the loaded cheese pizza edge. Now they have with hypodermic needles.
We have
famously East River water.
No, we have famously, some might say notoriously, fantastic drinking water up here. It is a fact.
It's fantastic. It's perfect water up here. You can't tell me that a city that produces that much filth and exhaust and disgust and pestilence and germs and disease and soot and excrement of a variety of living organisms can possibly have and the pipes are so old and the infrastructure, you can't tell me that water should be consumed by human beings, much less put in a dough of pizza that people are going to eat and feed to their children.
I can tell you that, yes.
You can tell me that? I told you couldn't tell me that. No, but wait a minute. More importantly than this, we have
great water filtration. It's almost like Austin Idol sold everyone up here water filtration units.
Oh, God.
We have fantastic water up here.
They're all NSA. He's a 47th level Mason and a 52nd level NSA fucking ground floor member. Anyway, what I'm saying to you is about the topping business. You're not going to get by with this because people have been appalled and shocked and bumfuzzled and gobsmacked over the lack of topping issue that you have created. I've been retweeting a lot of people. They sent me pictures of Emo's Pizza in St. Louis, sent me pictures of their favorite local pizza place. I'm so hungry. These huge sausage balls and all the different kinds of toppings and everything. You still maintain in the face of all of this blowback that you should only have the dough, the sauce, and cheese on a pizza.
To truly appreciate the essence of the pizza. Correct. Now, if you want to add things because the goodness of the pizza isn't good enough for you, that's fine. I know some people who want a hot dog with just mustard. I know some people who want peppers and onions and all sorts of shit on there. Who's right, who's wrong?
I'll tell you, the guy that wants just mustard, because fucking mustard, yellow mustard sucks on a hot dog.
Come on.
Yes.
See, now you're being ridiculous.
I refuse to eat yellow mustard in any shape, form, or fashion, on a burger, on a dog, anything.
I think the tide is turned, my friend.
Hold on here a second. No, fuck yellow mustard. Anybody that manufactures yellow mustard can take my fucking fist and shove it straight up their fucking sphincter. Because yellow mustard is a putrid thing that ruins the taste of everything it comes in contact with. Now, I like the creamy Dijon mustard or the brown mustard. JR's main event mustard is incredible. That's my favorite mustard. I'll eat that on a hot dog. I'll eat it on a turkey sandwich. I'll eat it all day long. But pure old yellow mustard that people put on fucking hot dogs at various sporting events and or entertainment venues sucks donkey cock.
Yellow mustard goes on hot dogs and it goes on pretzels.
No, I'll tell you what. Here's what you do. You get some of those Johnsonville sausage dogs, like the Andouille New Orleans Andouille sausage dog, or the better cheddars with built-in cheddars, and you put that on a toasted bun, and you shovel on some onions. And then you can either go with a barbecue sauce, or you could go with JR's Chipotle ketchup is very good, or you go the whole way and you mix up some cheese queso. And you ladle that thing on there, and that is a dog, my friend. At the Louisville Gardens, my Tuesday night pre-Gardens event dinner, every week, every Tuesday night for years and years, as a photographer, I would, no matter what happened, when they opened the goddamn concession stand at 7 o'clock for the 8 o'clock show, I would be around there getting one of their sausage dogs. It was a ginormous 1 pound sausage dog in this big bun, and they ladled on the fucking nacho cheese, and oh my God, that was something. Well, every once in a while I'd have 2 of them, and then that would hold me till after the matches. But you got to have some kind of cheese queso or barbecue sauce on your dog.
That's disgusting.
And onions. Oh, for heaven's sake!
Barbecue
and you're
sauce.
Advocating
Barbecue
yellow
sauce. I've seen people do cheese. Barbecue sauce on a hot dog.
Yeah.
No.
Well, not just a plain old. I don't eat plain old hot dog. Break a plain old hot dog in half and look at all the gimmicks in there. And it is just processed meat. If you're going to go for processed meat, go for the heavy duty, the sausage dogs, the brats, as I said, the Johnsonvilles. That type of more a hearty dog. The Nathans are too skinny and long. There's nothing to them. It's like a fucking meat toothpick. I tell you what, go down to Memphis and get some of the barbecued smoked sausage that like at Corky's or down at the Rendezvous, and hit some of that fucking sauce on there, boy, and your lips will smack your brains out. But anyway, back to the pizza. A lot of people have disowned you because of your lack of toppings on pizza and this irrational talk about dough. And I just want to say one thing. If somebody out there, if some guy who possibly even works at a mustard factory, but he makes money, and he works hard for his money, and he works his fingers to the bone for his money, and what he ends up with is bony fingers, and finally he saves up enough money to take his family, his fat wife Greta, and his fucking 2 or 3 Howl at the Moon kids, and he's going to take them out for a night of fine dining because he can finally afford it. And he goes to a pizza place, and he says, "Kind sir, I've just been paid at the mustard factory, and I've got all this money, and I want your biggest, finest pizza pie, and I want you to bring it to me. I'm going to feed my whole family. Just whatever your biggest, finest pizza pie is, I'll take it." And they would say, "Yes, sir, we'll take your money." And they come back 15 minutes later. Some wise ass sets down a goddamn baked piece of dough covered in fucking glorified ketchup with some cheese melted on it, all sitting there all alone and lonesome like a spare prick at the wedding. What do you think that man would say when he had turned over his hard-earned funds for their finest pizza pie? What do you think his reaction would be? Who do you think he might be able to call to get some kind of compensation when what he had been expecting and ordered and purchased and paid for was not brought to him? Who could he possibly turn to in his time of need, Brian?
Hold on. Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Still sue the rest.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, not only will he get you even if you are served a substandard pie, but he will just dig into the fucking motherfuckers that are fucking you around in all ways, manners, shapes, and forms. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen P. New, the consigliere of the cult of Cornette. He is the real deal. And Brian, you heard also now, he's got a lovely young attorney now that's in his office with him to handle some more of this work, because not only has his cases spread out across the country, but I spoke to one of his legal assistants on the phone here not long ago, and she was preparing some 50-something documents to be sent out to a variety of these people trying to appropriate my name and likeness on the internet. And then we had to have a conference to figure out what we're going to do with this one, I guess, website we're going to pick up when we shut them down. We're going to own that, and we're going to try to turn it into something maybe like Stan Lane did that one time when he was doing charity work. He heard about a house for unwed mothers that was fixing to go out of business. So on his own time, he went out and provided them with another half dozen unwed mothers. That's just the kind of guy that Stan was. But anyway, Stephen P. New, ladies and gentlemen, whether your legal complaint is toward outlaw mud show bluegrass gangs like Grover and the Mud Show Bunch, or whether you have a big corporation or a heartless conglomerate that has wronged you or infringed on your rights, damaged your health or that of your family or friends, Stephen P. New is the man who can get you compensation and justice in a court of law. Of course, his phone number, as we've all ingrained in our memories now, 888-692-8084. It doesn't even cost you a dime to call. Or you can email him even for even less money at newlawoffice.com. But I've lost track of the number of you out there in the cult of Cornette that Stephen is representing now. But and the ones he wasn't able to represent, he's been able to refer in many cases. And remember, another attorney, another member of the cult of Cornette who is a practicing attorney out on the West Coast, actually referred one of his people to Stephen because he didn't do that particular type of law, since there are so many. That's one thing. They've got a lot of different laws to try to trip you up. You need somebody that can navigate the legal waters like the shark that is Stephen P. New. What's he done for you lately? Did he ever get you a settlement on that fucking bicycle seat sniffing charge down at the Woolworths?
He has not done that, but many paternity suits disappeared overnight.
If only he had been practicing in the 90s. Poor Stan Lane could have gone to 7 or 8 more states. Anyway, if you need to get a hold of Stephen, he's right there at 888-692-8084. Hey, he didn't go to Florida for a while, I'm just telling you. But then they came to Charlotte. Stan was fully dressed in the fucking shower of the new Charlotte Coliseum when the guy peeked in and said, "You must be Stan Lane." And then he acted like he was trying to fucking, repair the shower nozzle or something.
I never knew that part of the story.
You never know what? No, I shouldn't. Now, Stan is a happily married man now, just so you folks know. And his wife, Maria, is lovely. This was back in the days when he was single. He did have a paternity suit issue in Florida, and there was one swing down there in, I think, 1990 for WCW where we had Buddy Landell substituted 3 nights for Stan when he couldn't particularly go to Florida. But no, this was, oh God, no, as a matter of fact, he couldn't go to Florida because he was served previously in Charlotte. That's what it was. He had a fucking deal in Florida. He wasn't going to go to Florida to get served, right? So then it is actually, as I remember it, the debut event at the new Charlotte Coliseum, September of '88, when it's the Midnight Express against Tully and Arn and Flair and Luger. And we drew 13,000 people, the debut of the new building, right? And this guy shows up and he's obviously out of place and he's looking and nobody's supposed to be in the locker room, but they're letting him. And we come to find out it's a guy looking for Stan to serve some paperwork to him. And fucking Stan here. And while a couple of the guys talk to him, so I think maybe he went out that way, Stan goes around and it's an unfamiliar building anyway. Now, it was so bad. Like at the old Charlotte Coliseum, he might have found a place to get away with it. But the best he can do is he goes in one of the showers, and it's an NBA building. They used it for the Charlotte Hornets back in those days when they first joined the NBA. So they've got a multitude of showers and these big locker rooms. And he goes and finds a shower, and he goes and closes the fucking curtain, but he's fully dressed and he's got no towel in his hand, nothing. He's just standing in the fucking shower. And the guy went through peeking in the shower. Oh, you must be Stanley.
Oh, man.
But anyway, then he got served and he stayed out of Florida while it was in the hands of people like Stephen P. New. Not as competent as Stephen, though. And that's when he didn't make a few of those shows in 90 and Buddy Landell substituted. And then they got the paperwork back because they were wanting him to take a test. That's what the whole thing was about. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even, I know a number of guys who were forced into taking paternity suits back in those days, and it wasn't even close. It was like whatever the fucking reading is or whatever is like the difference between a rhinoceros and a chimpanzee.
Was it always, though, with a girl they had clearly been with?
Well, I didn't say anything about that.
No, but I mean, was there ever just some woman who popped up? Like, she wasn't even one of the regulars. Like, I don't even know who this woman is. How could she be?
No. Well, I mean, yes, that's happened before, but, you know, in the world and probably in wrestling, but I don't remember offhand. But no, but usually it was in that situation when one of the young ladies got in a situation like that, it was either which one do I like the most or which one has the most money was the first choice. And then you'd go down the line. And in some cases, it took a while to get that far down the fucking. And then at some point, they just go, well, fuck, if it's anybody else, I don't really give a fuck anyway. And they'd quit. But, you know, nevertheless. Anyway, Stephen P. New. So I want to make mention, what day is this? Now, we have been because I was sick for a while, and you were sick for a period of time when I was sick. But you nipped up after a day or two. That was just a prelude of things to come. And then finally, when I got better, then suddenly you got sick. But now this drive-through is airing on Tuesday, February 25th, for the first time for the people that are so inclined to listen to it. Is that correct?
That should be correct, yes.
All right. So if you have ordered at JimCornette.com, Cornette's Collectibles, the fine merchandise that we are shipping across the world, by Sunday at noon on February 23rd, your shit's already in the mail because I got busy and did that. And for those of you who have ordered since then, your stuff is going to be going out at the first of this coming week, March 2nd or whatever, because as we mentioned last week on The Experience, I'm going to have to spend a few days in Oklahoma this week dealing with our property down there. So this program, the drive-through, normally airs on Monday, but it's airing on Tuesday. The Experience this week will air on Friday as normal, but it will be taped on Tuesday after Raw, but before All Petite Wrestling. So if they do anything really crazy or stupid or whatever, we won't be referring to it until next week. We just want to give that caveat.
Now, what about the All Elite pay-per-view?
And then that's why you're getting ahead of me here. You're trying to fucking dilute fucking attention away from your pizza transgressions. Rushing me through this stuff. So the Experience this week on Friday, we'll talk about Raw and whatever the fuck else has gone on up until Tuesday. And then next week's Drive-Thru will air either as normal on Monday or Tuesday, depending on how quick. I'm trying to do 700 miles down, be there 24 hours, sign a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of stuff filed, 700 miles back. I can do that in 96 hours comfortably. But anyway, so next week, the Drive-Thru on Monday or Tuesday. Don't get mad at Brian again. If he's still alive next week, get mad at me because I may delay it one day. And then the big super duper mega Godzilla King Kong fucking Jim Cornette Experience next week or the week after, depending on when you're listening to this. I hope you're still following me. Are you taking fucking notes? Anyway, we're going to talk about the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view. Hopefully the final time that we watch Monday Night Raw ever in life. And whatever's gone on All Elite television over the previous 2 weeks and all kinds of good stuff. Did I get that about right?
You did, and you threatened last week on The Experience that if this Raw project continues the way it did the first week, that we would probably move to SmackDown, and then I did notice a bunch of feedback from people saying, oh no, SmackDown's even worse, which I can't even imagine how that's possible.
And somebody on Twitter, well, Paul Heyman's in charge of Raw. I got news for y'all. I've known Paul Heyman now for 33 years. They may say he's in charge of it. He may be, he takes over. He's in charge whenever he's on camera. He's the best performer on the show. But that ain't anything. What was presented to me on Monday night is nothing that Paul Heyman would have fucking done. If you made Paul Heyman sit down and watch that at gunpoint back in the day, I think his head would have exploded. Who sees anything related to anything that Paul, besides Paul say, oh, push that guy. Okay, well, that we'll use him. We don't know how to push people. We'll use him. Who sees any Paul Heyman in that?
I don't.
Okay.
Although there's a lot of Paul Heyman to see.
Oh, my God. He showed drive-in movies on the back of his fucking skull now. He's younger than I am. Paul, has somebody checked his blood pressure? My God, he's so massive. It looked like he was a Macy's float that was being inflated as I saw him. It's almost like he bumbled down the fucking rampway. Like, it should have the tuba music behind you.
And on the last episode of John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight Then and Now we reviewed the Christmas party from 1989, and he's on there razzing John. He goes, how's that Nutrisystem going? You're supposed to lose, not gain. And the first thing he said to John when he saw him for the first time after like 10 years, or not 10 years, but a little less than that, in 1989 was, boy, did you get fat. John keeps saying it. It's like, it's karma. It's karma.
Hey, all I know is in 1989, I had about 25 pounds on Heyman. We're about the same height. We're about 6 feet even. I had at least 25 pounds on him. He had a little banty upper body, as they say, where he's kind of back bowed out. But there wasn't really a lot of fucking substance to everything. But but anyway, I had 20 or 25 pounds on him. I now weigh 197 pounds. I don't know what Paul E's tipping a scale at these days, but I think I have won the genetic wars. And also I still don't comb my hair with a washcloth all the way. Just a lot of the forehead. I've got a 5 head now, but nevertheless. Anyway, speaking of which, the one good thing about going to Oklahoma I've discovered is that I'm going to be in a couple of different hotel rooms. And you know what that means. Time for the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 to come out of the bag, baby, because I've mentioned this before. No, I don't mean that. Now, come on now. In all seriousness, what I've talked about how in love we are with the Manscaped products, and they're probably our most popular sponsor. We have people tweeting all the time at Manscaped about how they use our promo code, or they love the lawnmower, or they just got the plow, or whatever. I put over the pH balanced crop mop ball wipes and the various lotions and potions. The cologne is the word I'm searching for, boy. That I carry in my travel bag, the little hand spritzer, so you can, because when you're at an independent wrestling event or a Comic-Con and you're sweating quite a bit, every once in a while you need to freshen yourself up. So when you're pulling people in tight for those photo ops. But the crown jewel of this whole empire is now, it used to be the Lawnmower 2.0, now it's the Lawnmower 3.0. Because this thing is the greatest shaver / personal trimmer / it's the most essential personal grooming tool in the history of personal grooming tools since back in the caveman days when they basically just let everything fucking grow and hang out and they all rotted from the outside in. Since then, we've gotten a little more civilized, and the 3.0 now not only has the charging stand, and a charge will last like an hour and a half. We've talked about you could go to the zoo and shave a cage of monkeys in an hour and a half with this thing. But it's also got the LED light, so you can do it at night. Let's say your significant other is sleeping in the hotel room or whatever the case, and you want to, take off the back 40 off the chest or the legs or the nether regions or the neither regions, as some of our listeners.
Neither regions.
The neither regions. Well, it's just like the taint. It ain't one or the other. It's neither. But anyway, it's got an LED light that points right where the trimming edge. I can't even call them blades because it's impossible to cut yourself. I don't know how they've done this yet. The hair goes away, it cuts, but you can grind this into your skin. You cannot cut yourself. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's witchery is what it is. But anyway, the only problem is here's the one product they don't make. A vacuum cleaner. Because as I mentioned, I usually do my manscaping when I'm on the road in a hotel room because then I don't have to, because I lay a towel down. But my God, when tufts of hair are falling from various sides of your body, falling like fucking, stars in the heavens, just drifting, wafting off your body from this little dad, it gets all over the place. And then the wind picks them up or Harley Quinn grabs a bunch or whatever. So they do need to make a vacuum cleaner. But oftentimes I will do my manscaping when I go on the road in a hotel room, because then I do try to confine everything to the bathroom area. But I fear somebody's mopping this floor every day regardless, or they better be. So I don't feel so bad. And that way all the loose hairs get sucked and mopped and vacuumed up and everything. But anyway, if you haven't got one of these things, I don't know why the fuck you have waited this long, and you can go to manscaped.com and use the code DRIVE, DRIVE, and get 20% off anything on the site plus free shipping. And we get a lot of credit for this because we have spread the word about it. I hope that the female population is happy with you and I, Brian, that we have spread the word about this so that their men in their life are a little less stinky and furry and fuzzy.
I think all the females except for the ones cleaning hotel rooms would be happy about this.
Possibly. Well, yeah, there has been an epidemic in hairy hotel rooms since the Lawnmower 3.0 came out, ladies and gentlemen. I will not deny this. And also, but we have mentioned, I shouldn't even just say man, because this is, as they say, strong enough for a man, but gentle enough for a woman. I have firsthand knowledge from the fairer sex that this thing is so just, it's slicker than cum on a gold tooth. And it'll just take the hair off, and it's gentle, so you can use it, especially if you're Sicilian, ladies. You can use this if you're on the hirsute end of the spectrum. You can use this thing, and it's quick, easy, and good for you. So manscaped.com for the men or women in your life.
All right. Well, I think we got some questions here this week before I pass out.
Oh, now here you go. He's milking it again.
Let's get this first one in. This was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com. Let me do that again.
I dare you to leave that in.
This is from CornyDriveThru@gmail.com. Robert Katzlos, I think it's
Robert Catsass? What did you just say?
CSATLOS.
Well, he's obviously a foreigner. He's not from here.
Hello, Jim and Brian. Longtime listener, first-time questioner. Just wondering what you guys think of the preview of AEW's action figures. Particularly the fact that Kenny Omega comes with pointable fingers. Do you think for added authenticity they should also have put a switchable jazz hands in the package? Love the show. Keep up the good work.
If they had a thing where you press the button on his back and his hands started spinning around and around, and then maybe they could even have a Kenny Omega robot where you could do like some kind of fucking wacky waving arm inflatable tube man dance. Hey, that actually, can somebody come up with, I would even contribute toward this, out front of the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, a Kenny Omega wacky waving and arm inflatable. Wait a minute, I'll try it again. A Kenny Omega wacky waving and arm inflatable tube man. Anyway, well, no, I mean, I'm happy they got the dolls. I have action figures, I should say. They were dolls back in the 80s. I'm glad they got the action figures. I've done well with mine. People like action figures. Of course, it all makes them look like a goddamn Ahmed Johnson, every single one of them. I've noticed that, the definition in these things. But I saw the spot on the last TV show that we reviewed, and I didn't mention it at the time because it was kind of a commercial spot and I halfway zoned out. But the point was they were showing them. It was a nice little package put together to make the action figures important with the fans and etc., but they were presenting them to the Young Bucks and Olivier and these guys. And they're going, oh, this is so cool. I can't picture Steve Austin or The Rock going, oh, this is so cool. I mean, it's like it shouldn't it be? Yeah, it's just like me. You can use. I don't know the humbleness of them all to be big stars. What do you think?
Well, one of the things people have pointed out is that obviously a lot of work was done to get a really good facial image. Facially, get past the six packs and the giant arms. Facially, it looks like the guys. I mean, even that one young buck who makes the dumb faces, it has his dumb face. People have asked about your old WWF action figure in the late 90s.
Oh, and let me bust in here and say, yes, they have done a good job, and it was clear that the guy with the toy company was thrilled about it. And I think if he was showing that to other fans and people in the audience and crew members and things, and everybody's making over it, and then you have in some way the guys putting them over, but not just being such fawning, wow, this is really cool, I've never had this before type of, because that just, I don't know. But anyway, go ahead. My action figure, which looked like my face looked like a fucking Jaws of Richard Keel from the James Bond movies. My mouth was so far open, it looked like I was about to take a bite out of somebody. And they made me even fucking fatter than Paul Bearer.
That was kind of my question. I mean, obviously the AEW guys, work was done to make them look like the AEW guys, and it seems like they all approved of the final product. Were you consulted at all about your figure, or was it just presented to you like, here, it's done?
Well, no, a combination of the two. They told me they were doing a figure of me. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Great. I don't recall that it was, at the time more than I guess now that I think about how many royalties I got off of it overall over a period of a couple of years, it would be significant money to some people. But I don't know that it was 5 fucking figures, but that was 20 something years ago. Go back and look at some of those older dolls. I mean, a lot of the guys, it was hard to not get Hulk Hogan. So what he looked, because he looks like a cartoon anyway. But once they got down the fucking roster past the top sellers, a lot of the shit started looking alike because they were using a lot of the molds back in those days. And there wasn't the 3D, scanning. You didn't. I remember one time I was actually going to be in the second TNA video game. But the first TNA video game sold so abysmally that there was no second TNA video game, right? But I remember one specifically. I've been in Orlando for 3 days one time, doing like a pay-per-view and 2 days of TV taping. And literally, the last night of the taping, Terry Taylor comes to me and says, oh, can you come over here in the morning? I said, I'm leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to go home. Well, they want to scan you for the video game. What? Well, I've been here. I don't know why. There was no good reason why I'd been in the same place for 3 days. They wanted me to be the next morning when nothing else was going on. So I wait around a couple hours. I go over there. They put a skull cap on my head. They put these things. I stand in different ways. They scan me, all this shit. And it took like, an hour or whatever. And I was late, on the road to get home, etc. But I figured, okay, I'll get something out of it. Then they never even made the fucking game. But that was in 2009. They didn't have shit. The technology has grown exponentially. So they, both in terms of figures, in terms of, the way that the video games are more realistic, the figures are more realistic or can do more things. It's just because they can do more shit, but that's why I was hot with my doll from the WWF. I think they had to make a special body to make me look that fat, because even fucking Vader was jacked up, and suddenly I feel like, fuck, I'm not that fucking big. But anyway, those are collector's items now, as are my action figures, available at JimCornette.com. And at last count, there will be less than 320 more of these available in the calendar year here at JimCornette.com. Autographed.
And what was the process like for your current action figure in terms of your approval of the image?
Oh, well, Figures Toy Company is great. And I've known Steve Sandberg, the guy that owns it, for 20-something years. We used to work together in the WWF back in those days. And some things that he would do with the company and or appearances and et cetera. And it's amazing now where you send them basically, different pictures, like of here's an outfit that I like, and here's, pictures of me from the side and from the face. We didn't even have to do anything in person. They were able to take these and put them in their, goddamn Wayback Machine, whatever the fuck they do, and scan all the stuff and make it to where this figure looks. I've had people say the glasses are not right because they couldn't actually make. It was going to cost thousands of dollars to make these tiny little fucking wireframe glasses. So the ones they put on me I think I look like Drew Carey, but it comes in a bag in the fucking deal. But I look more like myself from what they were able to do off scanning the pictures than I did, 20 years ago. And especially, of course, I am a little bit more jacked up now in this version, but that may have been something that the client requested.
Our next question was sent in via Twitter using the hashtag CornyDriveThru from Hi, my name is John O, excuse me. How do you and Jim, well, I'll just go with you. How does Jim feel about the Bella twins?
Wait a minute now, you're just slipping this question completely? You were included in this.
People want to hear what you have to say about this.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about the Bella twins in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Pete Rose and Drew Carey are in the fucking WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, we've passed the point. If it's a wrestling Hall of Fame, it's fucking ludicrous, especially before every other wrestler that's ever worn tights before 10 years ago is in a Hall of Fame. But it's a WWE Hall of Fame, so it's expected. They have their, quota of, we're going to do a woman, we're going to do a tag team, we're going to do a couple of headliners, we're going to do a minority, a minority, we're going to do a dead person, we're going to do a celebrity. And they usually tick most of those boxes, and the Bellas are all over television and etc. But as a wrestling Hall of Fame, no, it's ridiculous. But as a wrestling Hall of Fame, it's ridiculous and fucking Pete Rose and Donald fucking Trump are in it. So that's why I say, they do a great production. They put on a great show, and a lot of the guys, it means a lot to them, but it's not even a real worked Hall of Fame. A real worked wrestling Hall of Fame. It's not even that. It's just a worked Hall of Fame for anybody that's had anything to do with the WWF, WWE, or was an old wrestling superstar that somebody currently in the office that can pitch something to Vince was a fan of. There's no rhyme or reason to this. So you can't take it seriously as that and get mad that the Bella twins are going in. When fucking Vince Sr.'s chauffeur was in the inaugural class, James Dudley.
As a follow-up, because another question about the Bellas going in came into the CornyDriveThru@gmail.com address from Brandon in Winchester, Kentucky. His follow-up was, in your career, did you ever encounter women that were only employed because they were dating or married to a wrestler?
Yes, everyone before 1995. I don't know what else to say. That's the only... I mean, unless it was some of Moolah's girls or the independent girls that were actually wrestling, in which case, and sometimes that was still the case, but that's the way that they got in the business. There was no other way to get in the business besides having someone experienced train you, and most guys weren't training girls. That was why Moolah had the corner on the market, except for a few places, Core Combs, whatever. And otherwise, those girls were booked in different territories for a week or two at a time as attractions. There was no regular females on the card unless they were managers / valets, in which case the way they got in the business was the guy they were with said, hey, I got an idea for a gimmick. I can use my wife as my valet or the manager. Or, there was Ma Bass, who managed Ron and Don Bass, was the old timer Mae Weston. And so she was already with the fucking business to begin with, and she got tremendous heat for doing those promos and, hitting fucking baby faces with her purse with the brick in it. But as far as there were no regular women on the shows in most territories until the 80s when especially World Class, Sunshine, and Precious, and got the valet thing going. And they found Stella Mae French. Remember when God, which girl was on which side now? Sunshine was a baby face.
Yes.
And Precious, and who else was on her side?
Precious and Jimmy Garvin.
But okay, and
no, because it was when Sunshine had to take a sabbatical. It was when Stella Mae showed up, I believe.
That's right, Stella, because they brought Stella Mae in as Sunshine's truck driving aunt, and
oh, those promos!
It was classic. But here's the fucking kicker. And I wish do you remember what her name was? She was not an old time like back in the 40s, but she had previously in the 60s and 70s been a lady wrestler in the business. What was her name? God damn it.
I don't know.
I can't remember now, and I feel so bad because I'm going to tell you. When I moved to Dallas, I lived in Irving, and I went to the dry cleaners, take my suits in. The first time I'd moved to the new apartment, went to the dry cleaner down the street, and this woman said, "Hey, Jim, how are you?" I said, "Well, I'm on TV." So I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" She said, "I'm Stella Mae French." I said, "What the And then she introduced herself as she was working at the dry cleaners then. She lived in Dallas, and they happened to need somebody. They came up with the idea for the Stella Mae gimmick and brought her in because she was smart to the business and could work. But then after that was over with, she was back working at the dry cleaner. I can't remember what her name was when she was one of Moolah's girls.
Tanya West?
There you go. I believe it was. Yes. But anyway, and she was a fairly top name in the 70s. When Moolah would take 4 girls and she'd be one of them, Tanya West worked with them a lot. But anyway, yes, there were until the 80s valets, there were no regular women performers on the shows in pretty much any territory. And so if you got in, there was no way to, just like it was hard for the guys to get in and get smartened up. So at least with the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, they were already kind of smart to the business, and you had a built-in gimmick. And then, whether they got paid or not, sometimes it might be part of the package, especially if they were just starting out. But if it got over, you made more money.
I just found a video on YouTube by an old friend of the show, Garen Shea, and it's entitled "Stella Mae French Makes Her Charming Ladylike Debut." Can I play a few seconds of this audio?
Yes, yeah.
I haven't tested this beforehand, but I'm assuming it's wonderful.
Over everybody else.
Hey, I can talk to myself. Hey, shut your damn mouth, you
Hey, you can't talk this way. This is television.
Don't tell me what the I can't say and what I can say. Now I want to talk to these people. I want to know who the Jim Garvin thinks he is. And that little... Don't tell me. Take it easy. Now, last Saturday night, in San Antonio, they hurt Val very bad.
Who's Valerie?
What do you mean who's Val? No, she's not Sunshine. She's not Sunshine at all. Her name is Val. Now, I raised Val since she was 3 years old. I promised my sister I'd do a good job, and I did it till that stupid...
Take it easy.
Don't tell me! Take it easy! Can Garvin... Hey, what? What for?
You can say what you got to say, but let him have the mic. Well, sure, I want it.
All right. Can Garvin hear me?
Yes.
He can hear me, he can see me.
Yes, that's right.
Garvin, your is mine. Okay? I'm going to get it. If it takes a truck, if it takes a 2x4, buddy, I'm going to wipe you all the way back to Florida.
Well, there's a sample of Stella Mae French's debut. Mark Loretz was horrified here.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, and people are like, holy shit, Sunshine's truck driving aunt has come to kick Garvin's ass, and that Precious is going to watch out. And then, whatever, obviously, they didn't book matches between Stella Mae French and Jimmy Garvin, but she was in the corner when the guy fought Garvin, and she got a hold of Precious, and a large amount of money was made by everyone.
All right, well, our next question, sent in via Twitter to hashtag CornyDriveThru, is from Mark Gillette. Do you have any insight into why Wendy Richter and the Honky Tonk Man are listed on Wikipedia as former members of the Midnight Express. And actually, there is a list here of members. We'll address this in a second.
Well, and I'm glad you saw, because I see Mark's Twitter all the time. Mark Gillette has great stuff, great tweets on Twitter. Tweets. He's a great Twitter twat. And I saw that. And I wanted to jot it down because I don't know how to save these things, but I was hoping you'd see it. But all that comes from, and you can read the list in a second, but all that comes from the time that the Midnight Express, Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, and Norvell Austin, or two or three of the same, ran for 2 years almost in Continental Wrestling in the early 80s. And because it was a weekly territory and they were there for a long period of time, they had people come in and out under the auspices of the Midnight Express Incorporated. And it wasn't just in Memphis, they were just the 3-man team. Obviously with me and either Bobby and Dennis or Bobby and Stan, it was just the 2-man team. But they had that long run there where, people came in and out of their heel stable. But read the names. There's some great names.
Yeah, and by the way, to that end, Honky Tonk Man was a member of the stable in Southeastern. Wendy Richter, all I could think of is that night she helped you in the Express.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Yes, well, here's the thing. Here's exactly what I did. And people that's because they took everything on Mid-South Wrestling seriously. I came out the following week, and they showed the tape from the Superdome, because the deal was, it was the Rock and Roll and Midnight Express, and I was handcuffed to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, so I could not interfere. Then the whole way they sold this was Cornette is neutralized. There's no way, because he's going to be handcuffed. Police issue handcuffs to Hacksaw Duggan, all 300 pounds of him at ringside, and there's going to be no way that Cornette can pull any shenanigans or funny business. And then the Rock and Roll Express get their fair chance. Well, it went back a couple of years since, and they played off of the Hacksaw Duggan as a ladies' man, because it's so preposterous. He was, bottom of the boot ugly in the face, but he was a ladies' man. He got pussy like crazy in Mid-South. But it was just so, and then when they did the tuxedo matches with Ted DiBiase, and Duggan brought out his girlfriend, Punchy. That was really his girlfriend. And they did that angle. He was a ladies' man, all dressed up and everything. Anyway, we're sitting at ringside in the Superdome, and the fucking Midnight's getting their ass kicked. And here comes this woman to the railing. I think she may have even had a bouquet of flowers or something, whatever the fuck. But she leans over the rail, and Duggan sees her, and she kisses him. And when she kisses him, holy shit, well, he's kissing her back. But then, and I'm trying to remember, I think she'd slipped me the ether. We did some shit. But anyway, some way or another, Duggan was fucking put down after being distracted, and come to find out it was Wendy Richter. Because she happened to be booked in the territory. Her and goddamn, what girl was she working with every night?
Was it Princess Victoria?
Princess Victoria, yes. There was a story one time when one of the boys walked into Hacksaw Duggan's room, and Duggan had just playfully flying beeled Princess Victoria all the way across the room from one side to the other. But she wasn't unhappy about it. Anyway, so the point is, since they're in the territory, they came up with the idea that's the distraction, which allows us to do whatever the fuck we did, and we win the goddamn match. And then we show the tape from the Superdome on TV the next week. And I announced it, ladies and gentlemen, I have made Wendy Richter an honorary member of the Midnight Express. And she kisses me on the cheek or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And Duggan's steaming mad. And then that was the summertime. That was the June Dome show in 84. So WrestleMania the next year was what?
Well, the match with Moolah on MTV was only like a month or two later.
Well, no, but there was, or it was... It wasn't that way. It wasn't WrestleMania. It was something, maybe the war to settle the score, whatever the second thing was or whatever. Or maybe it was that match, come to think of it now. But anyway, I got a telegram, and it's in the Midnight Express book, I think. But I got a telegram sometime later on from some fan that said, hey, grab your can of ether and head to the Garden. Your honorary member is fighting for the title in New York City. So if that was a month or two later, that was the match. But anyway, yeah, so they took it seriously. It was just one fucking TV interview.
All right, here's the list of members. A lot of these are definitely accurate. Some of them I question. Randy Rose, member, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Jack Victory. Well, I guess technically, as a member of the original Midnight Express when Dennis left.
He filled in at the pay-per-view in Chicago in 90 when they did the loser leave deal. And
89.
Then 89, I'm sorry. Oh, how time flies. In 89, when they did the loser leave deal and Dennis double-crossed him by saying, fuck you, he didn't want to change members of the team. He didn't want to do loser leave town. We got caught in all the fucking booking bullshit. He said, fuck you, I'll double-cross you and just stay home. So they had to put Jack Victory in the match, and he dropped the fall, and they brought him back as Paulie's bodyguard 6 weeks later.
Secret Service Jack Victory.
Yeah.
Many great gimmicks. Norvell Austin.
Correct.
Rotten Ron Starr.
In continental and Alabama, at least, if not southeastern. Well, that was southeastern in Alabama too at that time. Yeah,
it was southeastern still. Yeah, Honky Tonk Man.
In Alabama, in Mobile.
Wendy Richter, we've just discussed.
Yeah.
Comrade Busick.
That had to be. Could that have been like an AWA original Midnight Express alliance of some description, short term or something?
I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's supposed to be Big Bully.
Well,
Busick
I think it was Nick Busick. He was a nice guy, but it wasn't around where we were.
Bombastic Bob.
Oh, good Lord.
Followed by Bodacious Barb.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and people wonder why Cornette refuses to be a company man anymore. After the things that I've participated in trying to be a nice diplomatic fellow and company man and all around fucking decent person.
Did you come up with the names Bombastic and Bodacious?
I changed one of them from something that was even worse, and I can't remember what it was now. And then I was like, at that point, I'm like, why not? You know, I was trying to get them booked. I like both those guys. They were the next thing to unemployed. So, you know, but it's not like I pitched it. Now, wait a minute. Let's not get that started. They called me. I was once again. Even then, it was in Connecticut, but I was at home minding my own business, and I get a phone call from Vince McMahon. Pal, what do you think about new Midnight Express? We got these kids, Bart Gunn and Bob Holly. Oh boy, yeah. Can you take them to the warehouse and teach them some Midnight Express stuff and let them work out as a team? Sure. And I'll take them to Red Lobster too, right down from the office, which we did, just because I wanted to get a fucking lunch out of it.
Rick Morgan.
That would have been in Southeastern.
Was
I believe.
He?
Well, no, wait.
See, that one I wasn't sure about.
No, because could Rip Morgan have filled in for Dennis Condrey one night because he was there around the same time? I can't think otherwise when Rip Morgan would have been anywhere around a member of the Midnight Express.
Here's a couple. I don't know anything about them being members of Midnight Express. Ricky Nelson.
I'm not laughing at Ricky Nelson, the talent. I actually used him on some early Smoky Mountain Wrestling shows. He was a kid from the Carolinas, from the Charlotte area. Blonde-haired, great. He wasn't a big kid, but good body, great baby face, could work his ass off. And we used him on the card in a number of places, and he had done jobs in the Carolinas for Crockett's TV also, and in a couple of independent shows in Virginia during the time that when Stan and I had left WCW while I was setting up Smoky Mountain. We would work a couple of shows in Virginia, and one of them, or North Carolina, and one of them was Ricky Nelson was Stan's partner as the Midnight Express.
When you guys teamed with Jeff Collette, was that as a Midnight Express?
Well,
Dave Lehigh.
Yes, Dave Lehigh up in Richmond, Virginia. Did you hear that belch? I just belched, by the way, also.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, well, you're bringing up painful dyspeptic memories. No, Jeff Collette was a good kid also, but he was a local kid that worked for that David Lehigh in Richmond, there was no more wrestling in Richmond at that point. He was trying to get something going. And we went up 2 or 3 months in a row, and I think, yes, he may have advertised them as the Midnight Express, Stan Lane and Jeff Collette, and we won their belts and then dropped them to, God, I think the Cream Team. I'm bringing up names from the distance. That's 30. What? No. Dave Casanova and oh gosh, what was the other kid's name? But they were named the Cream Team, and they looked like a 80s, 90s wrestling team, and they were pretty over in that area. This is 30 years ago.
Brad Thomas.
Brad Thomas trained under Bobby Eaton for quite some time and did some independent shows in the Carolinas back in the 2000s when Bobby was still wrestling as Bobby's partner.
And they called themselves the Midnight Express?
Well, I think that's one of those cases where the promoter said, "Oh, the Midnight Express is going to be here," and it was Bobby and Brad Thomas. But Bobby's not going to complain about anything.
That's right. Rick Harris.
Rick Harris is Black Bart.
That's right.
You know what? But he was in Southeastern in the very early 80s, probably as Rick Harris before he became Black Bart. So he would have done something with the heel group there.
The Midnight Stallion.
That was the Mongolian Stomper.
Well, there's also listed under Midnight Stallion, Midnight Stomper.
And they unmasked him. No, I can't remember the particulars, but they did a deal where the Stomper lost and had to go somewhere, got suspended or whatever the fuck, and under a mask came anybody could put a mask on a Mongolian Stomper. You wouldn't know who it was, but that was part of the heat. The Midnight Stallion, or the mask of whatever the fuck the first name was, and then they unmask him and he becomes the Midnight Stomper, whatever the fuck. But it's a weekly territory. They got to get creative.
Here's one of the ones that stood out to me where I didn't think he was a member in Southeastern, and all I could think was the association with you in Chattanooga. Norman Frederick Charles III.
No. Wait a minute. Because Norman Charles lived in Pensacola, the Mobile territory, and I guarantee you that I know that the last place he worked after or before he came to Georgia in the summer of '83 for Dundee was the Pensacola territory. So probably yes.
And then the final one's on this list.
he may have gone back there and done something else the next year, but I pretty much killed his career. I was his last manager.
And the final names on this list: Big Bubba Rogers, Stan Lane, Dennis Condrey, and Bobby Eaton.
Well, I'm glad that we saved the best for last. No, I'm not knocking either of those other guys.
Midnight Express debuted 1980, disbanded 2011.
And that was actually the last year that some combination of Bobby and Dennis or Bobby and Stan had a match, as I recall. So that makes sense.
Okay, let's get it.
Well, there you go.
Let's get another question here.
Hey, sick boy.
I am sick. I'm getting sicker.
What a great segue. You're getting sicker, but is it possibly listening to this programming?
Possibly.
I believe I've tried to carry the ball here for you today, pal. But good heavens, I can pop the corn too, Joe.
And you can take me to Red Lobster, apparently. But this next question was sent in to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Angel in Vineland, New Jersey. Remember when Dennis ran Vineland?
I remember when Dennis ran Angel. Ran her right off. That's the whole thing.
What are your thoughts of Shayna Baszler's response to a fan who tweeted to Shayna about her saying the word shit on Raw? The fan tweeted to Shayna, "I don't mind if you pull something like this, but my kids were watching, and if you aren't going to keep it PG, you should just say so." To which Shayna responded, "Or you could be a father and tell them I'm a terrible person and they shouldn't like me for that. Or that they will get grounded and their tablets taken away if they ever do that. Because I don't give a crap about your kids, so I won't modify my behavior for them."
Yes!
Should wrestlers really have to modify their behavior for modern fans? Or is this fan just whining for the sake of whining? I would love to hear you answer this question on the show.
Well, no, I don't even care if it's whining. It's not to them. It's not whining for the sake of whining. But people get offended about different shit. But yes, a heel pissed somebody off and somebody wrote a goddamn letter about it. Imagine that. I've told a story. I can't remember whether I put that letter in my book or not. One time on one of the Clash of Champions, Norman the Lunatic had become a baby face. Now he's got a stuffed animal and he's hugging all the kids. I said, look at this lunatic. I said, you just let him out. I said, he's a child molester. And some woman wrote a letter to Jim Herd, and Herd made a copy of it, and I've still got it here in my files. And so I cannot believe that you allowed this announcer, Jim Cornette, to call my child's favorite wrestler a child molester. And I knew automatically it was a fucking put-up deal because Norman the Lunatic was nobody's favorite wrestler, right? But no, somebody got mad enough over that one thing, and that's great. That's what you used to be able to do to get heels heat, is have them say outrageous things and blame it on the heels for being rotten people. Instead of everybody being, oh, the promotion allowed this. No, the guy went into business for themselves, or the girl in this case. And no, they shouldn't modify their behavior for your fucking kids. If your kids hear shit on fucking television, honestly, look who's president of the United States. Worry about the big stuff.
So you approve of Shayna's tweet?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I found it, I think I remarked on it. I found it funny that you can now say shit on fucking basic cable, but you can't tell chicken jokes on YouTube. But yes, more people need to be offended by things that heel wrestlers say so that they will enjoy it more when a babyface kicks the shit out of them.
Our next question, Jim, sent in to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Corey in New Jersey. Jim, many people have said Vince McMahon could be a unique individual to deal with. But my question is, with Vince being so wealthy and seemingly so aloof from the mundane, what would Vince carry in his wallet if you ever saw it? Did he carry cash, family photos, lots of credit cards? What else would you say Vince normally carried in his pockets daily?
Oh, God. Well, I've seen his wallet many times, and he carries if he's fucking going to the little convenience store down from his house to get a turkey sandwich, he might not have $5,000 on him, but he's always got money, and he has plenty of credit cards. I didn't ever go through Vince's wallet, so I don't know about his family pictures. It wasn't like he ever pulled any out and said, hey, look at Stephanie when she was 4, because we're too busy fucking working. I've mentioned he doesn't often do things out in public for himself anymore, such as going, I think Bruce said 1984 was the last time he'd been to the grocery. I believed it. They had a live-in couple that did those type of things. But Vince, he's got some kind of membership or something. I didn't even know they had this. The Hertz, I don't even know whether it's platinum or diamond or just Hertz, big fucking millionaire shot fucking card. But I found it out one time, he always likes to cut it close, getting to the airport. And I'm always want to be there 2 hours early so I can calm down and, meditate. He's like 3 seconds away from the fucking plane. We don't care. So we're late one time. It's me and Jim Ross, Bruce Pritchard, and Vince in Vince's rental car. And I said, Vince, I don't think we're going to make this flight by the time we drop the car off tonight. He said, I'll just leave it out front. What? He had some kind of arrangement with Hertz. Wherever he leaves the goddamn rental car is wherever he leaves the goddamn rental car, whether it's out in front of the fucking airport, whether it's downtown at his hotel, whether it's, I don't know, a crack neighborhood. Apparently he said, I can leave this car anywhere I want to. They'll come get it. And I was driving, right? And he said, just pull up here. And this is before 9/11, yes, right? But we pulled up to the end of where you've checked baggage in, just the end, not right in front of the counter, but the end. He said, leave it here. I'll call and let him know. He said, here, take the key, drop the keys off, right? I've got the keys. Well, I'm so fucking panicked by the time I get my bags and we've just left this car on the fucking sidewalk. And I'm so bumfuzzled. And we're running through to catch it. I forget to drop the keys in the basket. So I still have the keys to that rental car in my office on one of the shelves because he said, just drop the keys in the basket. They'll come get it. Well, I've still got the keys. I don't know whether they ever got it or not. I don't think he cared. He would just leave them if once it's kind of like a metaphor for the wrestlers. Once the rental car had outlived its usefulness, he just left it where it was.
What kind of car did he typically rent?
One of the big ass, Lincoln town cars or, full-size fucking old white millionaire cars.
Our next question, Jim, sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jeremy Casperson. AEW instituted steel cage match rules that the match may only end by pinfall or submission. This differs from the old rule of being able to escape the cage via the door or over the top.
I can tell how old people are asking the question when they say that's the old rule.
What do you feel the rules should be? Please consider multiple factors such as the presence of a manager outside the cage, blading, a Jimmy Snuka wrestler jumping off the top of the cage when they should realistically be climbing down, etc.
Well, they shouldn't realistically be climbing down or the cage doesn't make any goddamn sense, which is why it's been insane to me, the whole escape the cage bullshit. Which I actually, when I first went up there and was doing a promo for Bret Hart and Yokozuna in the cage, I was doing my NWA cage promos about how there's no way out. They're going to be locked in. And then they said, no, the idea is to get out of the cage. I'm like, what the fuck? It does not make sense. Look at the pretty monkey. The whole idea of the cage matches, the original cage matches was always to do one of two things or possibly both. Keep anybody in the match from running out of the ring and running out on his ass kicking, or keep anybody outside the match from interfering. Whether you had a manager that had constantly interfered, we're going to put him in a cage, he can't get in, or whether you've got a guy that's running and trying to take a count out to keep the title, or just running away from the babyface's final revenge inside a cage. And it started from the days of, Paul Bosch used to fucking claim Galveston because they had it was a fishing village, Galveston, Texas, and they had fishing nets around the ring in the 30s, or the old chicken wire cages. Because, the early promoters, even they did this in the 80s in Tennessee. They didn't want to spend the money to have a cyclone fence made, so they just bring out rolls of chicken wire and wrap it around the fucking ring post. But all the way through the cyclone fence, the whole idea was to keep and there must be a winner. That's why it was the ultimate blow-off match, and if you didn't overdo it, it always drew. And that's as soon as it became not the ultimate blow-off match and overdone, it didn't always draw. I remember one time in 2012, Gary Jester said, we've got to draw a house on this show. Can't we put a cage in there? So yeah, we can put a cage in there and spend $300 and sell $200 extra tickets because everybody's seen fucking, now they want the goddamn elimination chamber or a roof or fucking running water and toilets in the fucking cage. The escape the cage thing came two different places. They did it in Los Angeles when Fred Blassie was the top babyface and had a big program with the Sheik, and Sheik wasn't going to do a job in Los Angeles. So they made first one out of the cage to make it different. And they used that in New York for Bruno when it wasn't even like a close escape. It was like he was going to beat the fuck out of the guy that had been fucking him around and then dramatically say, open the door, and walk out of the cage. There was no fucking drama to it. The idea was the heel had so much heat, the people would pay to see him pulverized into dust, and then he'd usually be gone. And then they kept, because Vince Sr. or Vince Jr. kept a lot of his dad's old rules, but it became an easy out where you didn't have to beat somebody. But it also became so stupid and so contrived, the dramatic climbing and guys who wouldn't do it right. One would be on the top of the cage, the other would be nowhere near able to catch him. Still, the guy'd be waiting and milking it, right? Or fighting on the outside of the cage or on the top of the cage in a stagey way when it was obvious that somebody could have got out of there. Or then they have to throw a guy through the wall of the cage, or they throw the guy through the door. And then they made the cages bigger, as I said, with running water and electricity and elimination chambers and plexiglass and fucking whatever the fuck. And that's why nothing that they have done to the cage has been in any way good for it. But still, if you built to it, and I'm not even saying what AEW did was right with the rules, yes, but if you built to it and put it on pay-per-view and said the culmination of this long blood feud will happen in this cage where there must be a winner, it might still draw, but it wouldn't be automatic because they've prostituted it like they've done everything else. But that's the way that evolution came about.
All right, we have time for one or two more questions.
You have energy for one more question and a song. How about that?
There we go.
Because daddy needs to go rest.
Our final question here this week on the
I didn't need to twist your arm, did I?
On this shortened edition of the Drive-Thru was sent in by, I'm guessing this isn't his real name, Hugh Jass.
He had a great burger place in Lexington till this fucking carpetbagger came in and bought it and closed it down. It did. A guy came in and bought Huge Ass Burgers in Lexington to close Huge Ass Burgers and open up another burger place of a different kind in the same fucking location. Carpetbaggers.
A while ago, you mentioned something about Kevin Dunn having a job for life because he saved some tapes from a fire. Could you expand upon that a bit?
Well, I'm not saying that one thing gave him a job for life. Actually, the ability to lick Vince McMahon's left testicle better than it's ever been licked before has probably got Kevin Dunn a job for life.
Plus, wasn't that his father the story's about, not him?
Well, yeah, here was the thing. When I first got there, of course, Kevin Dunn and I were oil and water instantly. This is not wrestling. This is not a sport. And nobody knows anything about any stars that have not been made in the WWF. So, of course, we instantly just disliked each other. But I said, I would ask a few people, how did this guy get in this important position? His father was the director for the old WWF and back to the old WWF TV tapings they did in Hamburg, Pennsylvania and Allentown, right? They would every month they would do their 2 syndicated shows, 4 at a time in Hamburg and Allentown, and then take everything back to Baltimore, where their post-production and editing was done at the time. And Kevin Dunn's father was the director. One day and back in those days, this is what you did. You took the fucking tapes of the shows off the tape machine and put them in their case, and you'd put them in the trunk of the car, and you drove them back to the studio. And he's going in the middle of the night from Allentown or Hamburg somewhere back to fucking Baltimore, and his car catches on fire. And he pulls over the side of the road. The car bursts into flames or whatever. I'm sure maybe it wasn't that dramatic, but the car's on fire. And he had the wherewithal to get in the trunk and open it up and get the TV tapes out. And that's so then Kevin was his son who came along and learned at his knee, but that's why Vince was always allegedly, in those days, loyal to the Dunn family. Which is why that I guess as long as Vince is alive, Kevin Dunn's going to be there. I have a feeling that Kevin Dunn will need a new nameplate for his door the day Vince dies and Triple H takes over, but that's just my thought.
Oh, I have a feeling that may be true. Stop that.
Oh, but you know what? If that bitch don't want to make burgers, forget her. I have a soft spot for the song because I did a Rock and Roll Express music video to that song for Smoky Mountain Wrestling television.
That's right. That's exactly the first thing I think of to this day. Whenever I hear that song, I think of that video from the end of '92.
Which it turned out well, didn't it? And it was what reintroduced the Rock and Roll Express as a team because they'd been off. Riggy still had the contract. Robert had been able to start first, etc. So they'd been apart for like a year and a half. And I edited that myself. I started at 8:00 one night at Tennessee Production Center off of Chapman Highway in Knoxville, and finished at 5:30 the next morning. On the offline machines, just 2 3/4-inch tapes, fucking one recording and one playing, and finding all that shit and going through and punching the buttons and doing the little fucking fade effect and everything and the fucking repeated double drop kick and
repeated shots of that one pathetic kid in the front row, the one little kid.
Yes, the one cute little fellow, toe-headed boy, and I think and also that little blonde girl from Cumberland, Kentucky that we used a lot of our commercials because she was the prettiest little girl out of about 400 in the place the night we shot TV. So, but anyway, so I knew that song well. But thank you. What was it? What was his name? As his assumed name?
Wayne Noon.
Thank you, Wayne Noon. You made it all the way to midnight.
The one I always liked from the end of that year And again, it's one of those ones where I hear it and it's one of the first things I think of. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting by Elton John, and you did a recap of every wrestler that had been in Smoky Mountain Wrestling over 1992.
Yes.
And it was so cool because you had Terry Gordy, you had Billy Black and Joel Deaton.
Joel Deaton.
You had everyone. Bob Holly. That was the first time I ever saw Bob Holly, was that video. So it was so cool.
You know, we were doing the Christmas show, which was usually, you know, a taped highlight thing. And I said, well, I'll just go through the first year's tapes and get a little action of somebody, a little action of some kind of everybody that was on the show that year. And you know, and Rip Rogers is on there and a bunch of guys. But that was fun doing those. Every once in a while, if I just wanted to stay up all night actually, I stayed up all night on a regular basis back then. And for some, not even on any kind of fucking enhanced pharmaceuticals, just my manic fucking obsessiveness. But if I had a night to spend at the production studio, I'd do a music video.
Well, with that, the drive-thru is closed.
Yeah, and if I were all of you that pulled up today, I'd go to a fucking medical facility just in case and get checked in case you've been in contact. When they ask you, have you been out of the country recently or have you had contact with anybody that's been out of the country, they should also ask you, have you had contact with anybody that eats pizza dough made with New York water? In which case you should possibly be tested.
That is exactly wrong. But you can hear more of this exciting conversation next week right here in the drive-thru, or this Friday when the new episode of the Jim Cornette Experience debuts, wherever you find your favorite podcast. We're also on YouTube, the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for him.
Just go. Just do the work on your own. Just because Brian doesn't feel like even talking about it.
I'm wiped out. The new Patreon, we haven't actually given the address and people have still signed up. It's pretty remarkable. But a week or so from now, it will be up. So I'm going to give the address here. Patreon.com/Cornette. And again, the introductory tier is just the archive. Sign up today if you want to hear classic episodes of The Experience and The Drive-Thru. You can follow Jim on Twitter at @TheJimCornette. You can follow me on Twitter at @GreatBrianLast. Listen to the 605 Superpodcast, 605pod.com, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Jim, tell the listeners a little bit about Cornette's Collectibles, and actually I'll say on the air here because I forgot to say it off air. Thank you so much for sending me a couple burger towels with the exclusive Cornette's Collectibles pocket knife. This is
well,
so
don't mention it, Brian, and I really mean don't mention it because now I'm out of pocket knives. So don't mention it because I've got to reorder, but right now nobody's getting pocket knives. But there are some incredible Cornette's Collectibles keychain flashlights, as well as writing instruments, fine ink pens, so that you can record notes on things that I say so you won't forget them. But if you order at JimCornette.com this week, of course, if you order, everything's going out on Monday, March 2nd from this week due to my trip to Oklahoma. And then I will be back in town and back. Once again, it felt so good to be caught up for a day. It really did. But here's the thing. If you want Behind the Curtain, the 80-page graphic novel, the bestseller, if you want the Jim Cornette action figures, the T-shirts, the burger towels, and so much more, when you order a Rolling Stones CD, fucking Mick doesn't send it to you personally, so it takes a couple of days longer because all this stuff is genuine, hand-signed, hand-packaged, hand-manufactured. I make my own ceramics. I blow my own glass. I do everything by hand. JimCornette.com.
JimCornette.com.
I do everything by hand these days.
He blows his own glass, ladies and gentlemen. But until this Friday on The Experience and next week on The Drive-Thru, for Jim Cornette, I'm the great Brian Last, headed to a medical facility near you. Tally ho.